The drapes are shut, I know. When the cameras aren't running, that is the reason Oprah Winfrey would rather not plump down freely with me, nor my significant other, to have a discussion. Oprah Winfrey is a slave broker. For what reason do you think she has that school in South Africa? For what reason does she spend time with who she spends time with? Rose McGowan has placed Oprah on Impact. Rose, as of late, gotten down on Oprah on Twitter over her past relationship for certain disputable men. Rose composed statement from being Oprah Winfrey, you understand what you really want to do, and quit taking cover behind what you call was pessimistic remarks when the vast majority figure Oprah. First thing that strikes a chord is that she's a legend that has transformed the business. And keeping in mind that this might be valid, she has likewise figured out how to stay at the focal point of a few embarrassments throughout the long term. Well, it appears to be those outrages are beginning to find her, as she was as of late called out and dropped by far most. Yet I know that is difficult to genuinely think, considering the standard she's made for herself in the business. Yet you'd be shocked about exactly how obscure her excursion to the top has been. Beneficial thing you have me, since I'm here with all the essence, so remain tuned till the end, so you don't miss precisely exact thing she did that spilled the general population. And on the off chance that the victimizer is any great, the individual in question will cause you to feel like you're a piece of it as somebody in showbiz. It's by and large exceptionally difficult to totally keep away from outrages. Yet even with as hard as it could be, Oprah takes the outrage game to a higher level, as the TV diva has been over and again made up for lost time in a progression of not great circumstances. And one thing that has been consistent about these circumstances she's been in is that they as a rule include one more party. To drive my point, we should accept her relationship with Harvey Weinstein, for instance. Winfrey and Weinstein have had an expert relationship that stretches back 20 years. There are many photos of her kissing and embracing the tycoon at grant services and occasions supported by the Weinstein Organization. She is featured in and created motion pictures that his organization circulated, including The Steward and The Incomparable Debaters. For the people who may not know, Harvey Weinstein is an American producer who rose to turn into the substance of a victimizer for the Me Too development. For each the news a long time back, the story that had for some time been murmured in the lobbies of organizations and studios, as well as on movie and TVs, at last became public. A progression of stunner articles uncovered that Harvey Weinstein bugged and attacked many people for a really long time and utilized his ability to menace them into quietness. As per TMZ, Weinstein said Winfrey urged him to shield himself, freely suggesting that the television host could have truly been Weinstein's ally against such countless ladies. Anyway, her kin said they never talked straightforwardly, and she was just keen on conversing with him for a television interview, discuss what's going on with Harvey Weinstein. I realize you posted on, so I think this is a turning point. And in the event that we make this pretty much Harvey Weinstein, we will have lost this second. Strangely, Winfrey made no notice of Weinstein during her rousing, brilliant Globe discourse. She has made it clear during other public expressions on the outrage that the social shift in progress went a lot farther than Weinstein's wrongdoings alone. As a matter of fact, a hopeful entertainer, England's Canadian Honourable, who talked at a public interview in November, asserts that Weinstein constrained himself on her in a lodging in Cannes in 2014, and said he utilized his relationship with Winfrey to prep her. I mean, she could deny it all she needs, yet this essentially lays out an association that simply appears to be excessively near supporting him. Well, in truth, we ought not be too amazed that she could have been Weinstein's ally. I mean, this is somebody that misled the world about getting mishandled in her book, just to help deals. Truth be told, and that is not even the main untruth she was uncovered, for in said book openness that came from her own family, despite the fact that Winfrey claims she never had any new dresses or dolls, and needed to embrace 2 cockroaches as pets. Experiencing childhood in country Mississippi, her cousin battles, she was very ruined as a young lady in the history. Oprah writer Kitty Kelly has guaranteed that Winfrey's stories have estranged her from a lot of her family, where Oprah became that gibberish about experiencing childhood in fullness and bugs. I have no clue, Catherine Carester said. I've stood up to her and inquired as to for what reason do you lie, Oprah. Let me know that individuals need to hear truly exhausting answers. Additionally added that the man in Oprah's life, Stedman Graham, was not exactly her accomplice, but instead an installation to persuade her crowd that she was typical. Oprah keeps Stedman around in light of the fact that she maintains that her crowd should acknowledge her as a typical lady with a man in her life. Yet from what I saw during those 4 years, I can let you know there's nothing there with Stedman, nothing at all. James Van Sweden, a scene draftsman who went through years working for the couple, said the newspaper likewise cited Oprah's dad Vernon as saying she might be respected by the world. Yet I realize reality, God does as well, thus does Oprah. Two of us stay embarrassed, Vernon said. And you understand what they say regarding liars. It's typically an example. This was additionally demonstrated by the Oprah became involved with this time past. One of these was the situation of the bogus master she welcomed on her show some time back. It is also called João de Deus, or John of God. He's a Brazilian medium healer, subject of a profile by Oprah. Furia became renowned for his extraordinary strategies for recuperating. However, he doesn't have a clinical permit. He performs both profound mending, supplicating strongly for devotees, and putting hands on them to fix their burdens, and what give off an impression of being genuine surgeries. Without sedation, Furia has been expounded on for a really long time since his training began in 1978. Yet an episode of Oprah in 2010 committed to him raised his profile dramatically. Later, 4 ladies showed up on Brazilian TV to blame Furia for manhandling them when they provide to him. For with some timely help talking on television Globo, 3 of the ladies portrayed their experiences with Furia to have Pedro Biel on state of secrecy. Dutch choreographers, a Hierolinic Moose, chose to be named and expressed that during one of her excursions to see the healer to be relieved of the injury of past rape, he brought her into a back room and had her jerk off him. He then had her select a gemstone from a set and conceded unique treatment. She has additionally blamed him for assaulting her during another meeting. You would imagine that an embarrassment like this, with her name joined to it, would have been a he level. Yet, as I give you these subtleties, it deteriorates. Over 10 years prior, the VIP television have decided to lay out a secondary school in South Africa for just young ladies, yet things speedy immediately turned an alternate light, not so lengthy after its true opening. See, soon after the all-young ladies secondary school opened in 2007, a school lady, Virginia Minuscule Makopo, was accused of physically attacking a few young ladies. At the time, Winfrey traveled to South Africa to offer an individual conciliatory sentiment to the understudies and their folks, referring to her own involvement in sexual maltreatment, and accomplished that, assuming that I could add her own family, discredits. Nothing is more serious or crushing to me than a claim of offense by a grown-up against any young lady at the foundation. Winfrey said in a proclamation at the time, I will make every effort to guarantee their security and prosperity. Yet where all of this truly goes south is the point at which it hit the media several months into it, that Makopo, the very individual that was charged for the underhanded demonstration against those young ladies, was vindicated of the charges. And afterward, not long after, Oprah gets on the news to say this in someone which I was attempting to express this to my companions who had kids 7 years of age. And somebody, as it feels better, might you at any point envision exactly how far she will go just to push her not so great story, and to top these generally horrible things that have occurred by virtue of her. For sure, another person in media outlets has called her out. The individual being referred to here is the humorist Monique. In another meeting with the Hollywood Correspondent, the 55-year-old jokester examines both the beginnings and ebb and flow standings of her public fights with Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and different VIPs. Everything began in 2004 When she met Daniels the next year, she showed up in his first time at the Helm Fighter in training from that point. Monique said she and Daniels communicated constantly, as far as possible dependent upon her featuring job in the 2009 film Valuable the Film, immediately procured basic commendation, and was essential for the honor season conversation. Something that Daniels, alongside makers Winfrey and Perry, needed to profit by Monique, declined to go on a press visit without being made up for her time. And consequently, the fracture started concerning why she needed to travel to France to advance her widely praised film. Monique told media sources that exactly the same thing she told Winfrey at the time. I said, Oprah, I'm doing a syndicated program. I'm doing a satire visit. I have a spouse. And I have children. Monique reviews. I have a tad of margin time, and I will make the most of it, so I'm not going any place on the grounds that I'm not committed to go any place. I've done my part. So we commonly settled on a truce. That was all there was to it. And keeping in mind that you'd anticipate that an individual lady should comprehend that it wasn't true with Oprah. Basically, that is what Mo accepts on the grounds that, as per the comic, before I know it, I'm thought of as troublesome and difficult to work, with adding that she believes she was renounced in Hollywood because of the circumstance, and albeit this move from Oprah and the camp impacted for what seems like forever in vocation. Likewise, Oprah has right up till now wouldn't apologize, which is the reason Monique chose to call her out again. Well, fans appear to know precisely exact thing she is, and many haven't kept down on talking about it. One Redditor composed.